having found none, it creates a much bigger problem. And I have direct experience of this. This is exactly what happened when they rolled out digital ID to a large population, over 1 billion people in India. And at the end of it all, what we ended up having were millions of people who were denied all kinds of benefits, thousands and thousands of women who lost their maternity benefits. We had several even starvation deaths because they couldn't get their ID. And these kind of problems, you don't see it right at the beginning. You don't see it when it gets a foot in the door, but you do see it later on.
Convenience is not worth handing over our state IDs to federal and international players. It just simply isn't. Because right now we are authoring the future for our children and our grandchildren. Not only ours, but yours. And in this story that we're going to be telling our grandchildren in years to come will be either about what freedom was or what dystopian plans were thwarted by wise men and women of valor and courage. We all know that if you pass this and it does lie at your feet, it won't be long before its use is forced. It will be required. Whether you're sitting in that chair or not, sir, it will be required. So do the right thing now and vote against this.
Who likened all of us who have these stickers to crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. Okay? Look at that picture behind you, Senator. Who is that? George Washington. Does he have a tinfoil hat on? No. What did George Washington say? Government is not reason and it is not eloquence. It is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Never for a moment should it be left to irresponsible action. Passing this is very irresponsible. And you say, oh yeah, slippery slope. That's not going to happen. Have you seen what's happened the last 2 years? We have people now thinking a piece of cloth is an act of love and it's going to save the world. Give me a break. Vaccine passports are everywhere. Show your papers. Hello, is this America or not?
One step closer to the mark of the beast. Swiss citizens are already inserting chips into their hands that contain the exact information that you are discussing today. The book of Revelation states that we will not be able to buy or sell goods without the mark of the beast. This is one step closer to the mark of the beast. In closing, respectfully, I'd like to remind you that you work for the people. This is an election year, and we will be closely monitoring how you vote on this bill. Thank you.
I have 3 points. One is, after 2 years that we've had of government control, power-hungry politicians, and being told what to do, what we can do, what we can't do, when we can do it, whether we can have a job, whether we have to have a vaccine, whether we need to tell the world we've had the vaccine or not. I mean, this is really creating this problem. So I think your timing on this might be off, because we are done with government control and tyranny, okay? And this is the first step towards tyranny outside of what I just described in our state. This is not going to just stay as a driver's license. This is going to be a digital ID, like they have in China. Have you studied the China ID? Social credit scores, can't get on a train without it, can't buy anything without it. Everything is tracked about everything.
My Senate district is Senate District 1. A representative is Luz Escamilla. In 1776, the founding fathers were very suspect of the British government. And there's a gentleman who mentioned to my left, George Washington. He knelt down in Valley Forge, asking the powers of heaven upon the people revolting against the government. Representatives and senators, that time history is repeating itself. We are them. We are rising up. May the God of heaven grant us freedom. I bear you my testimony that he lives.
Thank you. Folks, I've got 5 people on.
I just want to read a little article from CNN. Imagine your daily routine being entirely dependent on a smartphone app. At leaving your home, taking the subway, going to work, entering cafes, restaurants, and shopping malls. Each move being dictated by the color shown on your screen. Green, you're free to proceed. Amber or red, you're barred from entry. Interesting, I see a lot of people not paying attention to your constituents, but we are very concerned. And it's interesting how many of you are on your own smartphones right now rather than listening to your constituents. We are very concerned about where this government is heading. We are not heading towards more freedom. This man's been brought up several times. 245 years ago, we had men who bled, marched through the snow in their bloody feet to preserve our freedoms. Today, those freedoms are hanging in the balance, and you have been entrusted by your constituents and sworn an oath to defend the Constitution.
Hello! So Brandon and I just got back from the Capitol meeting. Lots of people were there. HB 88. And it got killed, huh? We were so happy to be there. And we got to watch, what was that, Senator or Representative Stratton? When it came time for public comments, he left the room. I thought he's being paid. But no, Stratton thought, I don't need to be here. So he left the room for an hour and didn't listen to any constituents. Then he shows up at the end to get his stuff and leave. How is that for an arrogant government? Anyway, Julie and group, we were there.